You ain't seen me in these videos in a while, huh? That vintage 80s, partially built, found at a thrift store. Let's get to the table and make that thing.
That thrift store find, a vintage 80s Shuttle Tydirium AMT model kit. Now, when I first saw it at the shop, I was like, you know, I think that $50 is too much. But it hung around. A bunch of other people apparently thought it was too much too, and I happened to be back there a few days later when it was half off. So I figured, you know what? Even if it's missing parts, it's worth that because I could maybe turn it into like a crash scene or something. So it has all the parts actually. So various pictures with instructions, all that. The hiccup is that somebody had already built this much of it and did not paint the guys on the inside there. So that maybe the thing that was the deal breaker for the original owner, and they just gave up. Okay, so I was doing a bit of preparing for the next sequence by trimming out parts, and I was looking at this bottom part, and I was trying to like orientate it versus the layout that I've got going on there, and there's this big kind of square spot here, which tells me that's kind of here where the landing platform is, right? So I'm looking at that, and I look at the... Wait a minute, what the heck is that? This is a defective model. It didn't fill the mold enough, so it's short here, and then like this piece, this casting had a little bit of overfill where that means the mold wasn't closed quite enough. I don't know if I can finish this model, but I guess we're gonna see. So, with the spray paint, nothing terribly complicated, I'm just going to gently run this along that same edge. So back to this piece. So, this little missing chunk there. We'll come back to that when it's more or less assembled. But later, when you hear me complain about how poorly made this mold is, there's flashing here, way in here, and it's all over the place. It's going to make clicking this thing together not great. You know, I had willfully forgotten how bad models were from that era. it will be difficult to paint this in place in that little fork. So I think we're gonna paint this now, at least as far as like the big like thing I want to put on there. And paint it. Mask is pretty straightforward. Just quick draw that on there. A little bit of latex here and there, just kind of give a chip paint effect.
And finished. Overall, it's a nice model at the end of the day. You see that big old Rebel insignia there. I have an entirely separate tutorial on that. These little doors, didn't have all of them, so there's only the one there. Don't care too much. That damaged piece is ultimately on the bottom. I may dry brush it silver or something, but it doesn't get seen when it's on the table. You just miss it entirely, so maybe it's good enough for the table as is. Kind of size comparison with a couple of Star Wars Legion figures, so of course it works, sort of. My sense of scale is kind of wonky based off of the idea that the Star Wars toy line back in the day by Kenner was also massively out of scale, so no, it's not exactly correctly in scale. Did knock a bit of gloss on that canopy just to give it a little bit of depth. Didn't really like doing this model for a couple reasons. It was a challenge in as much as it was a bad casting. It wasn't particularly designed well. I would have been entirely upset as a child had I got this back when I was about 8. It would have driven me crazy. I would say if you are a skilled modeler and crafter, you can do this. This would not be ideal for a new person doing models for the first time or even moderate. It's had some real challenges. But the end result is pretty nice. It will match pretty well on a table. Yeah, find that stencil tutorial I did for this one. It's called Combined Stencil Technique. Anyway, if you enjoyed these videos, I would appreciate it if you went ahead and hit subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. I know you hate hearing it. I hate hearing it too, but it really does help the channel and the video.